Hey warriors. Okay, we're gonna try this. I'm on a new mission here. Um, so what I've done is I have put together a little I don't know, that's not really a speech, but what I did is I wrote all this stuff out because sometimes when I start going down the road and my mind starts wandering, it wanders and I don't finish thoughts and I say things that are what I mean to say, but I don't get to the point and that kind of stuff. So what I've done is I've just written this down so I can just read through it, and that way I won't miss anything. And actually, it's when I started writing it, it was like, well, what did I miss? And so that's what it's titled. And it is an interesting question. What did we miss? Well, in at least the last 70 or 80 years, or maybe even more, since the beginning of the 1900s, I think we've missed a whole bunch as a society and as a church, if you're in the church. So let's talk about what's going on and what we need to do from here. I think the first thing that needs to be said is that we all start in the same place. Um, if you want to know the truth, you need to seek it for yourself, period. We've become as a society so self-absorbed, distracted, and used to being spoon-fed everything that we have become disconnected from the truth and the cold, hard reality of what we have allowed to go on now for decades and even centuries. We've allowed ourselves to be manipulated into complacency and complicity. Over the years, I have had periods of time when I would start looking for the truth about things that didn't make sense to me, but never really kept at it until I had any real answers. So today, I'm going to make some statements that through my own research, not only do I believe, but based on real evidence, I myself have been able to find that I am convinced are completely factual and the cold hard truth. I'm not going to present the evidence. I'm not going to try and convince anyone, and I'm not going to spoon feed anyone any information. If you truly want to know the truth, you need to seek it for yourself. And in the process, you'll wind up finding out much more than you originally set out to. Always use common sense and question everything. Don't take one source's word for anything. Pray for wisdom and discernment as you research. Don't expect Google to help you. Don't ask Siri or Alexa or Google Assistant. I suggest that you get and use DuckDuckGo as a search engine and some sort of non-filtered search engine and a secure, more secure browser. I wouldn't use the mainstream browsers like the Microsoft one or Chrome or any of those. Firefox is a little bit better. Brave, try that one. Just look around and see if you can find something a little bit more secure and with less tracking and junk. Okay, so we'll start with the very basics. The war is between good and evil, the powers of light and darkness, good and evil, right and wrong, truth and deception. The enemy is the source of all deception, the father of lies, every one of them. Lies and deception are his primary weapons. Ignorance, apathy, and denial are choices that we make as individuals. The enemy works through people. Decide for yourself, you will no longer be deceived. Number two, we are all being lied to and manipulated, and we have been for decades and generations. Turn off your TV, stop reading articles from the general mainstream media. Stop listening to the mainstream media reporters, politicians, Hollywood celebrities, and all of the talking heads. Most of the newspapers and quote unquote reputable news sites, as well as magazines, et cetera, are compromised. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. Snopes is a joke. So anything that, I mean, if you fact check anything, don't, if you try and do the quote unquote fact check, you're not going to find anything. You need to be diligent and, you know, wise in what you're searching for. Use good search terms. Don't always take the first results in the search that you get. Go down a few pages, read stuff. I'm going to qualify this by saying too that there is a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. There's a lot of kooks, but if you are diligent and you keep at it, you get through to the real stuff. These are not quote unquote conspiracy theories. That's one of the biggest lie of all. Just as a side note, the CIA is actually the one that came up with the term conspiracy theory in 1954. And it was because of the stuff that they were into and people were starting to talk about, and they didn't want anybody talking about them. So they started telling everybody that they were nuts. So at any rate, the next thing, evil divides to conquer. Again, it's been going on since the 1950s. Men and women, black and white, rich and poor, young and old, parents and children. He's been trying to divide us politically, religiously, and even within the church. If we're divided, we get in a situation like what we're in here right now in our nation. A lot of this is about money, power, and control. In fact, it's all about money, power, control. Our government is corrupt, either through deception, manipulation, coercion, or intention. Probably 80% plus, maybe more, of our governing bodies and agencies, from the federal all the way down to the local and state and local governments. We are being herded towards communism and have been since the mid-1900s. There is a deep state. It is very real and completely evil. In fact, it is a cancer. It is a cancer, and it's in everything from the healthcare system, the education system, the entertainment system, or the entertainment industry, pretty much virtually everything. It's got its fingers in everything. Human trafficking and human trafficking is global, and it is right under our noses as well. There are more slaves today than at any other time in human history. And those are statistics that you can find online by reputable sources. In the US alone, there's between 500,000 and 1 million children go missing every year in the US alone. In 2018, an estimated 40.3 million men, women, and children were trafficked using force, fraud, or coercion for the purposes of forced labor, debt bondage, and sexual exploitation. And that's the truth. And that's one of the things that the powers that be are involved in, and they thrive on. It's part of how they fund their business. Evil is real. There's a global organization of evil people who prey on children in horrific ways. It is one of the main components for whom and through whom all of this has been established and continues. And they use it as they use it as a source of income. Number 7, all of this is hiding in plain sight. Once you begin to grasp and understand the truth, you'll be shocked and angered at how obvious all of this is and how many trusted figures, organizations, and companies are involved. It's in our faces every day, and it has been all along. They've just been very effective in the manipulation. You'll find out that part of what goes on is they have to put it out in front of us. And when you start to see the connections and how it's almost flaunted in our faces, and it's real, it's evil, it's horrific, it's awful, and closing our eyes to the truth isn't going to cut it anymore. People need to wake up, and they need to find out the truth. So that's a good start. I just encourage you, don't take my word for it. Anything that doesn't sound right, doesn't look right, why would they do this? Why would they do that? Why doesn't this add up? If it doesn't make sense, or if it seems like it's being used for someone's personal gain, or a group's personal gain, if it's a political faction or a religious organization or a company or whatever it's, if it sounds hinky, it probably is. And so once you start getting away from all of the junk that they're pushing all the time on us and telling us that this is all what's happening when it really isn't, and they won't cover the stuff that is. So at any rate, I just encourage you, if it doesn't add up, look it up. You can find it. Just keep pressing through, and then once you kind of get to you'll start to find some reliable places that you can check, and you'll see the same thing over and over from different reputable sources. And I'm not necessarily talking about people. I'm talking about people who do research that have found organizations, information from the government website, information from news organizations that aren't mainstream, that are being suppressed. The internet is terribly manipulated, And if you think that you can Google stuff and get the right answers, you won't. You won't find it on social media. It's all being filtered and it's all been compromised. You realize that. Hopefully you do. If you don't, it is. And Twitter, Facebook, things like that. They're taking anything down that's true. And you got to wonder if all these things weren't true, why are they yelling so loud about them? Why are they saying, oh, this is just a conspiracy theory? Well, if it was, why would they worry about it if it wasn't true? So that's just some food for thought. I love you guys. Good luck on your search. Look for more videos. I got some more stuff coming out pretty quick. I may just do a couple just to get people going in the right direction. And maybe nobody will ever see this, but at least I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to. So God bless you. Keep the shining side up. And as always, peace.